Hello and welcome to What's Stitching in the Cottage with Captain Stitches. Hi, I'm Jean, and I know that this is a little short notice and an impromptu live, but I was able to sneak away for a little while and come in the cottage and get some stitching done. So I just thought that I um, would go ahead and share with you what I am stitching on and chat with some of you for a while. So, hello, Melissa. It is great to see you. Thank you for joining me on this little impromptu live, as I was just explaining. But as the title says, let's stitch a snowman. So that kind of gives away what I am working on, which I am working on another tag and doing some slow stitching. And this one, I'm just starting. So we'll see how much I can share with you during this live today and maybe some tips, techniques along the way. And if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask. But you will not be seeing me because I will be switching on the overhead camera very shortly so that you will be able to see me stitching instead of just chatting. So I will go ahead and switch that camera over right now. It'll take just a second. There we are. But this is the tag that I am working on today. And it says it's cold outside, and we have a little snowman cut out of a fabric panel, some trees behind him, and there's a little section of a quilt down here even that he's on. So I did just need to stitch all the way around to keep the outside edges down, and I started that, and I'm going across this outline on the bottom of where it says it is cold outside with a back stitch right now. So I'll just continue to do that. And I am using 2 strands of black DMC floss to do this. So we will just get that part done so that everything that I need is kind of tacked down so it's not moving around on me. Hello, June. It is great to see you. Welcome. I know, like I was saying, that this is short notice. I was just able to come out to the cottage for a while and was going to be doing some slow stitching. So I decided I would share with those of you that can join in the slow stitching that I'm doing. And my one thread is out of sync with the other there, pulling that down so that it's even. And hopefully this is showing the correct direction for you. It's backwards for myself. So hopefully it is showing the correct direction for you. Hello, Joe. It's great to see you. Thank you for the hearts. But yeah, so we'll get the back stitch done around the bottom of this, and then I think I will go on to work on the snowman there in the center. That's my plan anyway. It may change as I go, but that's my plan for right now. I'm trying to hold this at an angle that you can see, but that's a little difficult to do at times. Still have to be able to stitch, so but we'll try and keep it so that you can see the majority of what I am doing. Phew, it's getting a little warm in here. I think I need to turn my heater down, and we don't want that little spray on that fabric there. Get that out of the way. Don't need to sew that down. Wrong kind of embellishment. We get enough threads all over everything. We don't need to sew those loose threads into our stitching. I just flipped that tree out of the way so I can get across here. And we're just about out of thread. I'm going to have to pick up my other thread when I get across there. And there we have the last stitch on that. So we'll flip it over and go ahead and knot that off and trim it. Trash bucket right there. Okay, so we're going to flip that empty needle back in there, and we'll take the one that I pre-threaded before. What is Whip working on? Whip was sleeping, and right before it was time to hit the go live button, he woke up. And when he wakes up from a nap, what does a dog need to do? What do we usually need to do? He needed to go outside and go potty. So I knew I wouldn't be able to get up and let him in. So I let my husband know that I was letting him out and asked him if he would let him in with him when he was done. So I'm sorry. He's not out here with us today. He would have been if he hadn't decided to wake up at the wrong time. But yeah. Yes, isn't it? It's going to be cute, hopefully, when it's done. I mean, cuter than what it is now when it's done, when we have some embellishing done on him. But the snowman is outlined in black. So I am going to start by going around that black so that is also, and I'm trying to decide where I want to start. Sorry. So that is also tacked down and not moving while I work on it. And I am going to do that in a back stitch. Easy. Doesn't need to be decorative, going around him to just outline him. So I was just looking at a spot that looked like it would work good to be able to continuously go all the way around him. Yes, this fabric is a little old, so that might be why it looks vintage. This was taken from a panel fabric, and then I have several other ones that go along with it. I made a quilt out of it last year, and so I have a lot still left over, and I thought, oh, that would be cute to cut some of that apart and make a tag, do something. I've got a lot more that I'll be able to do something with eventually, Joe. But yeah, this fabric's been around the cottage for a long time, just like some of the others. I like to make my own vintage fabric. Keep it long enough, that's what it is, right? Okay, so we're just working our way around the snowman. I used to have some little carrot nose buttons, but I must have used them all. I would use one on his nose on this. Have to have to look for some more. They come in, these little novelty buttons come in handy. Joe says vintage fabric is her happy place. Yes, I have a tendency to lean towards those older fabrics myself. Well, the Civil War era and the 30s and just older fabrics that have been around for a while. Was it yesterday? It was Friday. I was at my one friend's house to drop off her quilt that I had done on the long arm for her. And she had two great big tubs of lace and doilies, old ones. We're talking really old, some of them in vintage. And we were going through it and looking at them. And I was drooling, which I do have the opportunity to receive some of it after she has gone through and decides what she really wants to keep and use out of it herself and her daughters, if they're wanting any. And then I will have the opportunity to become the owner of some of that, which is awesome. Okay, so now I need to decide whether I am going to outline his scarf, which is blue. It kind of looks black on there, but it's a dark blue with the black, or whether I am going to do it in blue. I'm going to check. I did pull some threads out here. They're under here in my little wooden ruler box, and I do have dark blue in there, so I think I will use the blue. And it isn't that far. Okay. What I'll do first, instead of skipping too far down, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do French knots on his two little eyes, which happens to be right where I put the little dot of glue on the back of my fabric. Thank you, June. She also says very nice vintage snowman. Yeah, we'll call him I think we're just going to do one wrap on that because these are very, very small eyes. So I don't want to make them too big. We got a piece of thread in there. We'll get rid of that. There is the one, which pulled the wrong direction there. Do the other one. Just going to do one wrap on it also. And of course, our little end of our thread got caught in there. Come around. And there. So now we've got his eyes on there, and we're going to go ahead and do the running stitch right here where they have his mouth smiling. We'll just go over the stitches that they already, as closely as we can. They're very close together. Hello, Carol. Welcome to you. Glad that you could pop on with my no warning that I was going to be going live. But like I said, I had a little bit of time to come out here and stitch, so been missing a lot of you since I haven't been able to be on, so I just decided that I would do a little impromptu live while I stitch on this little snowman. Trying not to catch his arm in there as I'm doing this. These are teeny tiny spaces between those running stitches, let me tell you. You almost need a micro tip needle to do that. We think our needles are small, but when we get to little things like this, like they didn't leave much room between their running stitches there. And we're just going to have to cheat and come backwards on that one. And I'm pushing on my lap app to get that needle through because it didn't want to go through. So it comes in handy for that at times too. Fabric combinations are so pretty together. Yes, thank you. Which that says it's cold outside was part of this. And then this is a fabric that I seem to have quite a bit of probably because I knew I liked it as for anything that I needed to have a night sky in or a night scene. I mean, it's old too. I've had it for a very long time. And then this part that looks like the quilt down here, if I move my hand out of the way, that is also part of what was on this panel. So yes, they go nicely together that way. But I am going to now, we'll go ahead, it'll be all right. I'm going to continue to do the back stitch around the snowman's body. Just want to make sure that I don't pull that too tight on the back there. So we get him all nice and down. All these notifications keep popping up in front of my chat. Oh, so what are all of you working on today? Getting some stitching done, or are you just taking the day off and relaxing? I consider slow stitching relaxing, so no matter where I am sitting, I have some type of stitching in my hands. Very rarely will you find me not stitching, except once in a while in one of my Zooms when I'm talking. And Miss Carol will tell me I'm not stitching. Oh, but June is working on a Christmas table topper. Okay, awesome. I have the one, remember the one I showed with the gingerbread cookies going down the middle? I forget what else was on that one, but I haven't finished doing the blanket stitch applique around that yet. Haven't gotten to get back to it. So I don't know if it'll be done in time before Christmas is over or not. We shall see. And Carol is working on her cross stitch cats. That is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Those of you that have not seen that don't know what you're missing. She is working on an awesome, awesome kind of cross stitch that isn't the normal colors and stuff that you would think that you would see, and it is beautiful. And I think it's a completely filled piece. I don't think there's any spaces between it. Correct, Carol? I know they have a name for that. It's left me, but full coverage. I think that's what they call it. Full coverage cross stitch. Carol is good. She pretty much sticks to one project and gets it done. Correct. I thought so. Thank you, Carol. She's not like me jumping all over the place with 50 million different projects going at once. At least I can say I'm never bored and I'm never at a lack of a project to do. They're all around me. I don't have to look far to find something to do. And I'm kind of covering up as I'm stitching again, aren't I? Sorry about that. Need to get those little threads out from underneath there. I'm catching along the way. Sorry, but we're almost Can't see where my last stitch ended. There it is. Sometimes they blend in so well, it's like, okay, where am I connecting to? And we're going to have to make sure we skip under his branch arm there. We don't want to stitch across it. Make sure that we're under when we go past that, because that's going to be done in brown instead. We're getting there, almost to where I started. In fact, I am, because I'm going to do that scarf in blue, not in the black. So, gone all the way around the edge, done the line that's underneath the sign, and I've backstitched the snowman, did his mouth and French knots for his eyes so far. Gonna knot this off on the back. And decide what I'm going to do next. Trying to finish before our class. Okay, and hello, Melody. Nice to see you. Thank you for popping in as well. I hope I haven't missed anyone else. Okay. And I could go ahead and do those trees back there with the black outline too, but I'm getting tired of the black. So I'm going to switch to the blue, and we're just going to keep working on the snowman. In my blue under here. Here it is. We're going to see what we have already cut here, whether it's long enough or whether I have to cut another. Nope, we'll be able to work with that for a while. But we'll go ahead and do some work on his scarf. I don't know why I always refer to him. Well, because they say snowman, so I guess that's why I refer to him as he and his. But there aren't no women and no kids, and wonder if there, yeah, somebody's probably done a snow dog. Oh, okay. And I'm going to do this and back stitch also. So if I start here, I will be able to work continuously all the way around. That is what I will do. Gonna, whoops, get in the right place there. Gonna start right on that curved part. That's a small little stitch. Another notification that popped up there. Get rid of that. That arm likes to stick out, doesn't it? It's like it's waving at us, saying, hello, everyone. Down here, coming to life a little better with some stitching to make me look a little better. Oh, I need to show you the one I was working on yesterday. I did get the butterfly done on it, and that came out really awesome. So I'm going to grab that and share it with you while I'm thinking about it. get to a good stopping point here. Didn't leave much fabric there to be able to work around. Get that down. Get around to this side. We'll work up to the stopping point there by where his other arm comes out. And I will show you one that I was working on during the recorded video yesterday. And we're going to skip under his arm again and come up over here. Okay, we will set that down just a minute. I'm going to grab the one I was working on so I can show you how that ended up. Bring that up. There is metallic thread on that, on the butterfly. So you can see that I did stitch it. I did not use, we're not quite done. There's 2 sections right there that I haven't finished yet, I see. So I'll have to do them. But once I do them, then this tag, the front part is done. I have to do something on the back and then stitch the back and front together. But that is how that one ended up. Yeah. If we move it, you can see the metallic thread. There is metallic on the blue parts there, and then the yellow right there on the outer edges is done with metallic thread. The rest is done with the regular. Thank you. Yeah, I really like that butterfly. I'm going to have to make sure I cut a few of those out to save to put on other projects in the future because I do really like that butterfly. We'll set that back out of the way and we'll get back to work on stitching our snowman. Thank you, Melody. She says, pretty. Now we're coming around the edge here of the scarf. I can grab hold of my needle. When you're doing a curve, you need to take a smaller stitch so that it works with the curve. We're getting there. Pretty soon we're going to have the scarf section done. What's fun is when you get to the point of any embellishing that you decide to do. And I do have some tiny little white pearls that seed beads that on these trees. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it's got some white dots on them. I'm thinking I might do those with the seed beads. These I will do with probably 1 strand of regular white and a strand of metallic for the look of the snow that's coming down there. I lost where my stitch was. Coming right up where that other one ended. Need to cross over and go down to bottom section here. That side's already done. And now we'll be working right across this part and back up to where we were. And I'll make which one do they have? We'll decide which one we want over and which one we want under. think we'll do a line across there so you can tell that that scarf is got the dimension folded over and it tied in the knot around the neck. But you can see how you can get the satisfaction of the relaxing while you're doing the stitching. And these are also small that you get the satisfaction of also making progress quickly on a small project. So it doesn't feel like it's taking forever for you to get something done. Hello, Andrea. Great to see you. Thank you for joining. And Gladys, the Confident Quilter, has also joined us. Hello to you. Working on another small tag and doing a snowman on this one at the moment. Need to turn. I'm going to come down and turn so I can go this way. Keep my back stitch going the correct direction. And all these little white dots that are on the scarf, I'll do those in French knots. Not with the metallic. On, it'll go where I want you. All right. Be nice if I don't run out of thread just before I'm at the end of where I need to be. Hate when you only have about 4 or 5 stitches to go and your thread isn't long enough. That's starting to get some dimension to it. Instead of just being a flat piece on fabric. Get silent a little here in between. Well, thank you, Melissa. She says, please hit the thumbs up. Yes, thank you. Much appreciated. And for those that may watch the replay, if you aren't subscribed and you enjoy, like what you see me do, please hit that subscribe button. That's always appreciated as well. I do a lot of different things, so you'll want to come back and see what else it is that I do. Okay, that's already stitched there. So now I need to make the one part of the scarf come over so that we can tell that it's like we wear our scarves, that it's actually either flopped over or tied over. Nothing like paying attention to detail, huh? Okay. So now his scarf is done. And I didn't run out of thread. Yay. Love when that happens. And again, I have the SF 101 on the back of here, so you don't have to worry about any stitches showing on the front. And it also helps them to give the fabric stability and the stitches to lay nicely on the top. To pick all those threads off when I'm done there that are get caught in the stitching there every once in a while. Okay, so ran out of thread on that, so we might as well go ahead and finish the scarf by doing some of the French knots on that. And of course we need white for that. Getting a lot of practice threading a needle today. And those are teeny tiny little dots. I'm debating whether I want to actually use, yeah, I'll go ahead and use 2 strands. I'm just using regular leftover DMC floss that I have drawers and drawers and drawers filled with on these. Okay. Stay together, ends. Well, we can get you. Oops. I'm going every way but through the eye. There we go. Are not. Okay. We'll start with the one right here. And we're going to do 2 wraps. We're just going to come right where each one of those little dots are on the fabric and do a French knot. One of those little frayed pieces stuck right in the middle of the French knot. That was funny. Probably couldn't do that again if I tried. I do a lot of French knots when I do slow stitching, and I like a very teeny tiny small chain stitch. Do a lot with that. Can also do a lot with a fly stitch. So those are some of my favorite stitches. My least favorite stitch in embroidery is a satin stitch. I just do not like satin stitch. So if there is a way to do it in another way that it looks the same, I will choose a different stitch to do rather than satin stitch. But sometimes you just can't get by. It needs a satin stitch. One of the substitutes that works really well for a satin stitch is filling it with a stem stitch instead. Will work nicely. And again, I'm just going in every one of the little white dots that they have in the fabric on the scarf. Got one really close to the edge here. We've got about 15, yeah, about 20 minutes. Yeah, we're getting a lot done in this hour's time on this little project. Good way to time how long it takes. Of course, it all depends on how intricate a one you're working on at the time, too. One more there. Got to hop over to the other side. Now we'll do these. One right up here. You can barely see. We'll get it. These are also nice little take-along projects. You just have everything that you think you might be using on the piece you are in a small little kit of some kind. You can just throw it in your purse, or if you have a project bag, pop it in there and got something to work on if you're going someplace that you're going to be sitting for a little while or whatever. Who of you that are in the chat do slow stitch? First of the year is fast approaching. Very quickly, if you have things you need to have planned and ready to go the first of the year. And I bring that up because starting the first of the year, I will be offering classes in several different things that I will be teaching. And that is one of the perks of being in my VIP group rather than the regular one, because they are offered all that information and first chance at registration before it is then shared with the other general group and on my YouTube. So if you want to be notified of when classes are and stuff like that, kind of like an early bird special, I guess you would call it, make sure that you check out and ask to join the VIP group, which the link is in the description box, and there is no charge for it. It is free. It's just where I do a little extra things in that group. So just so you know, so you don't miss out with those opportunities. Hello, Danielle. It's great to see you. Slide over here, knock that off. Got his, I think the scarf is about done. I'll have to look. But I think with that, finished that part off. Flip it back over. The scarf is complete. I'm going to hold off on those two little black buttons because I do have some micro tiny black buttons. So if I can find where I have those, which little button container I have them in, I will add those there rather than stitching them. But the next thing, because it's none of this up here is down yet, is I will go back to the black and I will do the I think I will do that in an outline stitch around those trees instead of a back stitch. So that I will be doing next, but we are almost out of time. We'll see. I can probably, oops, I threw that in the wrong container there. I have a decorative jar sitting over here. Oh, you won't be, well, you'll see it if I put it this way. That I throw my ends, thread ends in, and then you kind of see, ooh, how much thread you have been working with. So that's what that was supposed to be thrown in instead of my little trash bucket that's up here. Every once in a while that happens, but I am going to go back and thread my needle with the black again. Well, that's not the end. This is the end I want to. Okay. It should already be cut. There we are. I'm going to switch needles. I think they're probably about the same, but there we go. Got it on the first try. Which this hand is totally numb right now, by the way. I've been working this entire time with no feeling in this hand whatsoever. Okay, so now to decide where I want to start on that, I said I'm going to do an outline stitch, didn't I? So we need to start differently to be able to do that. Let me see how close these are to the edge. Okay, we're going to flip his hand over and we are going to start way down here and work our way around with an outline stitch. Okay, Danielle, she says, and not Danielle, I was looking at the name above, June. I'm sorry, June says she needs to go. Have a great day, everyone. You have a great day, June. Thank you for popping in and watching and chatting with us today. Always great to see you. And of course, on the stem stitch, you're always making sure that your thread is at the bottom of your needle, not the top. That is the difference between an outline stitch and a stem stitch. Otherwise, they're basically the same. And to keep from catching the frayed edges of that fabric. And when you know you're getting to where you're going to need to make a turn, you want to make sure that you don't end your stitch, your actual stitch. See, right now I'm just taking, not doing the outline, I'm taking like a straight stitch so that I'm able to turn that corner, because if you tried to turn it while doing the stem stitch, it would go across it instead of keeping in line. Now we just need to get right on that tip again, and there's not much to hold over here. Need to get further into the work there. I have something to hold on to. Keep glancing at the clock but the other one, and I keep forgetting that it's fast. I need to bring it down and reset the time on it. Thank you, Danielle. Melissa mentioned that earlier. Thank you again for reminding everyone to hit the thumbs up. And the same thing when you get to where you've got a V or a point in the middle, You need to go straight down, not end with one of your other stitches, or you won't be able to turn that corner. And we just come right back up in that and continue on. But I don't know, I'm gonna hold that up so you can get an idea of the difference between this was done with a back stitch, and you can tell that when you do which way am I up here? When you do the stem stitch, it is ends up being a thicker outline on there than doing the back stitch. And this is just a thin line outlining the snowman. You don't want to make it look like it's black there. I want to get some more depth to those trees. So that's why I'm using the stem stitch here and only did the back stitch for the rest of that. But so kind of explain my thought process and the reason for that as I go along. But so got quite a bit done on that during this time. But it is close to the 1 hour time. So instead of continuing on, I'll put that down. And I will give you one last chance if anybody has any questions before we say our goodbyes. Give everyone a chance to be able to say goodbye or anything they want before I click off here. But a little crooked there. And 3 patches of time came in just at the last moment there. But hello, welcome to you. Just wrapping it up and getting ready to leave. But thank you for joining us. Yeah, so that's going to be cute. And like I said, I think the white that is on the trees, I'm going to use a little seed bead on those instead of the French knots. All the dots that are in the background of the sky will be done with 1 strand of metallic opalescent thread and 1 strand of white DMC. So that gets a little shine to it of the snow that's coming down in the sky back there. And then where this quilt is, I will be stitching on all the patches of that. So it looks like it's actually quilted. Of course, I have to do around his stick arms yet in this. And I also believe I may have a teeny tiny little heart button. If I do, that heart I will put that on there. And then, of course, finish doing it's cold outside up there will be done in a back stitch. Those are the plans that I have for the rest of it. And once again, for those of you that popped on late, I will go ahead and show you the finished butterfly from the one that I had the recorded video on yesterday. Didn't have that done yet, which if I move it the right way, you can see that there is metallic thread on the outer portion of the wings on the butterfly. But that is how that one turned out. So Carol says goodbye. Goodbye, Carol. And Andrea says, it has been great being with you today. Thank you. It's been great being with all of you today, too. It is good to finally be getting a chance, maybe not on quite a regular schedule, but getting time to come out here and decide that, yeah, I'll go ahead and hit the record, or I'll go ahead and go live while I'm out here and working on something once in a while. But hopefully we'll get back to somewhat of a schedule soon. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will see you again soon. In the meantime, remember, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.